Hello, everyone. My name is Robert Ogie. I am the pastor here at Cutler Bay Worship Center, right here in beautiful Cutler Bay. We are going to look at Proverbs chapter 13 this evening because today is the 13th of June, and so we're reading a proverb a day. What's going to happen when we get to the 30th? When there is no 31st in this month, we'll figure it out. But we're reading chapter 13 today. 13 kind of continues the theme of what the last few chapters have been, where it's just a lot of really kind of one-liner, good thoughts to live by and to get some wisdom from. And so here we are jumping in chapter 13, starting in verse 1 again. I'm primarily reading from the New Living Translation. I start in verse 1. A wise child accepts a parent's discipline. A mocker refuses to listen to correction. Wise words will win you a good meal, but treacherous people have an appetite for violence. Those who control their tongue will have a long life. So that's 3 times now, just in the last 3 chapters, that Solomon has told us we are probably better to just keep our mouths shut. Why is he doing this to us, eh? Those who control their tongue will have a long life. Listen to this. Opening your mouth can ruin everything. Lazy people want much but get little, but those who work hard will prosper. The godly hate lies. The wicked cause shame and disgrace. Godliness guards the path of the blameless, but the evil are misled by sin. Some who are poor pretend to be rich. Others who are rich pretend to be poor. So he's basically saying, don't try and keep up with the Joneses. Don't be more than you are. Don't just, don't lie about your situation. The rich can pay a ransom for their lives, but the poor won't even get threatened. The life of the godly is full of light and joy, but the light of the wicked will be snuffed out. Man, he's getting vicious here. Pride leads to conflict. Ain't that the truth? Those who take advice are wise. Those who take advice are wise. Again, that's a theme we've seen through a lot of these chapters. Surround yourself with many advisors. Those who take advice, they're the wise ones. Verse 11, wealth from get-rich-quick schemes quickly disappears. Wealth from hard work grows over time. Hope deferred makes the heart sick, but a dream fulfilled is a tree of life. I want to take a pause there because that is probably the most important verse in this chapter, and it's one of the better verses in all of Proverbs, really. Hope deferred makes the heart sick, but a desire fulfilled is a tree of life, or a dream fulfilled is a tree of life. There's something about having our dreams and our hopes and our desires fulfilled that just gives us life, isn't there? And there's something really kind of damaging and sickening to our hearts about when that hope is deferred, right? And hope is one of my favorite words, a confident expectation of a positive outcome. And when that gets deferred, when our expectations, when we are really just, this is going to happen, we know it's going to happen, and the longer it doesn't happen, the harder it is to hold on to hope, isn't it? And hope deferred can really make us heart sick. But a dream fulfilled is a tree of life. We've had these situations in our church the last couple months and even just in this last week where we are seeing our hopes and our dreams and our desires met by the hand of God, and it gives more hope. It just infuses us with this joy and this life because we're seeing God's hand move, and it's just so amazing. We said in quiet, nobody hearing. God, we want to feed kids over the summer, and somebody calls us and says, "Hey, I have connection with an organization that feeds kids over the summer when they're not getting food at school." I mean, just out of nowhere, God heard our heart from heaven and met that need. And then in the coming days, you're going to hear some cool reports. We've had some things happening just on Friday. On Thursday afternoon, I was talking to one of our friends, and I just said, we'd love to be able to do like some sort of a backpack giveaway at the end of the summer with school supplies in it. And lo and behold, somebody shows up on Friday afternoon and just says, "Hey, we were looking at churches online, and somehow your church just was really highlighted to us. And we have all these school supplies that we don't know what to do with them. Do you want them?" like less than 24 hours after we say, God, we'd love to be able to give away school supplies at the end of the summer. A desire fulfilled is a tree of life. It gives life. It makes everybody happy. Psalm chapter 20, we've been reading it a lot this year. And it says, when God meets us, then we will have victories and we will celebrate. There's something about getting victories and being able to celebrate with each other over the victories of God in our life. Verse 13, people who despise advice are asking for trouble. Those who respect a command will succeed. The instruction of the wise is like a life-giving fountain. Those who accept it avoid the snares of death. A person with good sense is respected. A treacherous person is headed for destruction. Again, a lot of these things are, we've seen it. Solomon's talking about just having common sense, really. Just having common sense, just basic understanding of how to do life. And when we seek out wisdom and we seek out understanding, when we listen to advice, those are things that we have. We walk away with common sense and we're able to live a life before God that is not only pleasing to Him, but follows His instruction. And when we follow the instructions of God, we come into blessing. It's like when we work hard, we get the reward of working hard, which is getting paid well. It's those types of things. It's like all of that just kind of comes into alignment. Verse 16, wise people think before they act. Fools don't, and they even brag about their foolishness. An unreliable messenger stumbles into trouble, but a reliable messenger brings healing. If you ignore criticism, you will end up in poverty and disgrace. But if you accept correction, you will be honored. And this is speaking directly to our ability to be humble and to just take correction when correction is needed. There's something about, if you ignore criticism, and there's something about us that wants to kind of come against, like, well, why are you criticizing me? Or why are you examining what I've done? Why are you telling me what I did wrong? But the reality is accepting that criticism actually is accepting correction. And again, we're not talking about discipline here. We're talking about course correction. We're talking about the ability that somebody sees in you, listen, you're doing something. If you fix these few little things, if you tweak these few little things, and you make some course corrections, you're going to find life. Those are the things that we're talking about here. When we're seeking after wisdom, when we're seeking after what God says, and we're seeking that good advice in our life, it's like saying, hey, I know I'm going in this direction. I know that this direction I'm going in maybe isn't the way that I want to be going. So is there anybody around that can help me, give me a little bit of course correction and direction so that I can get to the goal that I want to get to? Right? Because if we ignore criticism, what happens? It says you will end in poverty and disgrace. But if you accept correction, you will be honored. It is pleasant to see dreams come true. Ain't that the truth? But fools refuse to turn from evil to attain them. Walk with the wise and become wise. Associate with fools and get in trouble. That kind of sounds like my friend Kyle's advice. He says, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Associate with fools and get in trouble. Verse 21, trouble chases sinners, while blessings reward the righteous. Good people leave an inheritance to their grandchildren, but the sinner's wealth passes to the godly. A poor person's farm may produce much food, but injustice sweeps it all away. Those who spare the rod of discipline hate their children. Those who love their children care enough to discipline them. The godly eat to their heart's content, but the belly of the wicked goes hungry. A lot of good stuff in this chapter, a lot of good things, and again, he starts by saying a son listens to his father. In the ESV it says a wise son hears his father's instruction. And then down at verse 24, he flips it around. He starts talking about being a parent. Right? Those who love their children care enough to discipline them, to give them that correction that they need. It's not talking about punishment. It's talking about discipline and correction. And when we can give our children that good course correction and say, hey, the way that you're going right now is not going to work long term. It's not even going to work short term, but you can course correct right now, and you can get a better destination. If you want this is the way you got to go. You're never going to get there if you're going the way that you're going. If we can give those type of correction and disciplines to our children, they're going to be better off in life. And the same is for us. If we allow ourselves and humble ourselves through what we're going through in life, needing the help that we need, getting the advice that we need to get, and seeking out that wisdom, it's going to course correct us, and it's going to keep us on task till we get to what it is that we are going for. Hope you're having a great weekend so far. We'll see you tomorrow morning at church at 10:30 a.m. on Facebook and YouTube. And, of course, I'll do chapter 14 at some point tomorrow as well. But have a great evening.